welcome back to another episode of the Fili del Vesuvio podcast. Unfortunately, right now, there's a little bit of technical difficulties on Serenos' side, but he should be here shortly. Once again, I just want to thank you all for joining in, coming in to talk a little bit about Napoli, what's been going on within the last week with this team all around, their performances, what we expect to see in the coming weeks, and a little bit of drama that comes in a little bit later on that when Serrano comes in, we'll talk about. But first, because I want to wait a little bit for Serrano to come in. I'm going to start off like last episode. We ended off with Napoli Club Toronto news. As you may or may not know, Serrano and I are we run the Napoli Club of Toronto. So just to start off, just to ease things into the episode, here we have Napoli Club Toronto news, and basically not much going on right now. We have a couple of match meets for the month of October that you can follow on our social media to get more information on. Sorry, couldn't think there for a second. Yeah, just follow our social media. You'll get some more information on our club news and match meets for October. Another thing that's pretty exciting that we will uh, get into a little bit later on in the month of October, once everything gets set up, is that we do have merchandise that we have produced and are really look at that self-produced ourselves, like the club itself. We have merchandise that we are producing, and we will be releasing soon enough. We just have a couple things to work out with in terms of our website and stuff like that, but it's minor stuff that should be out. My expectation is by the end of this month. um Other than that, I don't believe there is much else news to cover. So just once again, just follow our social media, get in on our Instagram and our Twitter, find that information there. And yeah, hopefully everything within this month for the merchandise stuff gets sorted out. Another segment that we are going to try to introduce a little bit more. It's kind of like my own niche thing, and because Serrano's not here right now, he's going to be in soon. I thought I'd bring it up with you guys, and it's called Carmen's Medical Minute. As you guys may or may not know, I am currently in I did my undergraduate in kinesiology and health studies at York, and now I'm in my postgraduate at the Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College here in Toronto, and I'm looking at getting into the medical field. And I thought, what better way to use my expertise to bring out and present to you some of what's going on with Napoli's injuries in whatever may have happened in the past. Luckily, as of right now, we are facing minimal injuries, and the people who were injured have returned, like Mertens and them have finally returned from their injuries, which honestly they weren't too bad of injuries. They're about both of them a month off. They look to be fully recovered now. They look to be getting some minutes in themselves, except for the last match against Spartak Moscow. But obviously, some things were that did go against us that we couldn't afford to give them that extra time on the pitch. But as of right now, Lobotka may have another week or so with his injury. Meret is back, Deme is back, Mertens is back, and I think I've covered everything in terms of the medical side of things. But you know what? I'm bored you enough with that medical stuff, and here he is finally. I can add him back into the stream. Sereno Verde Oliva, what's up, brother? What's up?
How's it going, everybody? I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just, I told them some technical difficulties. I bored them with some news
Just some
in the middle.
sorry, some technical issues.
Nah, nothing too bad.
That's okay.
But
Get them
it's
all warmed up
okay.
for me.
Yeah, good. I got them going a little bit. I got them going. I talked about some of the club news. I talked about our merchandise
All
stuff
right, so where
that
are
we
we
have
at right
coming out
now?
soon. Where we're at right now? Well, said that we're at talking about Napoli now. The past couple of fixtures, which funny enough, when I looked onto like what the last three fixtures were from the last time we left off, it's SSC Sam Spartak Cagliari. So those are the last
Oh,
three
wow.
fixtures. I know, right? Those are the last three fixtures that we played. Samp we demolished 4-0, Cagliari 2-0, and then unfortunately a loss to Spartak Moscow at home. Sere, I've talked enough. Take it away.
Oh, are we talking about everything, or are we talking about
You can
what
you
happened
can take it
yesterday?
one at a, you can take it
Are we
one at a
addressing
time. You if you want to address the match yesterday, please go
Okay.
ahead.
Honestly, I don't like. I was very emotional yesterday. Like, if anybody follows me on Twitter, I was really not impressed by the refereeing. I feel like he lost control of the game, and that played more to them than it did to us, because obviously we're the team with the more quality. So the mayhem benefits the team that's not as structured, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I honestly like I don't think the only thing that I was worried about, it's not about qualification, it's not about anything. It's just if it destabilizes the team, which I honestly don't see that happening. Um, but yeah, I don't really put too much stock in how we played, just considering the circumstances. The other two games we were comfortable the entire game. I feel like we would have comfortably beat Spartak yesterday if it wasn't that type of match. Um, but it is what it is. There's plenty of match days left. I still think we can top the group in the Europa League. So,
Yeah.
um, we have to put our energy and our focus to Fiorentina, because we don't want to be dropping points in Serie A right now, because that's a way tighter race than our Europa League group stage, and I would put more priority on keeping up the pace in Serie A than the Europa League, which I believe it is important to finish first in Europa League, and I think they should prioritize Europa League to a certain degree. But if I had to pick
Mhm.
between dropping points Sunday and then dropping points on Thursday, I'd rather drop points on Thursday for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And it goes back to the point where, like, yeah, we should be competitive on all fronts. We should be pushing for Europa. We should be pushing for Scudetto. We should be pushing for Coppa Italia. And to be honest, we do
We
have,
got the
we
depth.
have,
We got the
yeah,
depth
we have
for it,
depth.
except for
We have the
except for
depth
the
for
one
it.
position where we got the red card last game, which
Listen,
I've talked enough about the whole left back situation, but that's
so,
just shows you right there.
yeah,
We could be deep in every other position. You're only as strong as
was your weakest
your
link.
weakest link.
Yeah,
So
I agree. But like okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna talk about tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow's match. I am losing it today. I'm gonna talk about yesterday's match. Today's Friday. Sydney, help me out. Today's Friday, right?
Sunday, it's
Thursday.
not. It's
Okay,
2 days.
it's a
You
day.
can you can you can relax tomorrow. Eh? You don't have to
Okay,
worry about
perfect.
Napoli tomorrow.
um, so going into that match, I thought for sure we are gonna beat Spartak. It was gonna be 3-0. It was gonna be 3-0. That was what I had predicted.
I thought it was gonna be
And
five. Dude,
five,
I got in. I got into the stream late. Like, I was at the office, so I'm like,
yeah,
oh, it's 12:44. Let me turn the zone on. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, maybe I'll miss like the first minute.
minute.
10. I missed the first 30 seconds, and I missed the freaking goal. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I
I
was like
know.
rubbing my hands like this. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be one of those games, eh? Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a run.
exactly. And like
Nope.
not to and I was at school when it happened. Like I had the notifications on my phone. I look, oh, Napoli match started. I put my phone down. I do whatever I have to do. 2 minutes later, I look at my phone, goal, LEFL mass. I'm like, how? Like, how do we happen? And then I thought, I'm like, okay, 3-0. You predicted 5-0. Those are like, yeah, we're kind of there, right? Those scores make sense. But
Well,
this yesterday,
we've been bodying teams.
yesterday, exactly, especially coming up against Spartak 4-0 and 2-0, having conceded a goal, scoring six, like that. Those are numbers that you'd think these guys are going to go out and demolish whoever's in front of them. But then I can't blame the team yesterday because they still played amazing with 10 men. They still played a good game with 10
No,
men.
absolutely.
and they were down
Absolutely.
10 men for 70 minutes, and they still put in 2 goals. And they still put in 2 goals. And if it wasn't, I don't
I
like
mean,
making
they
excuses.
play.
Listen, I don't like making excuses, but this is the one time I will say the referee decided the fate of that match. 100%.
I mean,
I cannot
okay.
blame anyone
Let me
else.
get this out. Let me get this out of the way. Mario Ruiz foul
That's
is
stupid.
definitely a red card in my
For
opinion.
sure. Yeah, it is.
However, the way that Spartak Moscow was playing the entire game, how rough they were
Yes.
playing, and that one tackle on Manolas, I don't know how they
Yes.
didn't get at least two yellows or a red earlier. Because honestly, if that
100%.
Mario re-challenge is looked at by VAR, that the same challenge basically happened, and actually the foot was higher uh, on
Yeah,
that tackle on Manolas.
it
Um,
was. Yeah, you're
so
right. It
I
was
think that's
higher.
a factor. I think honestly, even down to 10 men, if Zelinski buries that chance,
Oh
uh,
my god. Don't
we
even get me started with
if
that.
it if it's 2-0, we're laughing. We're
Yeah,
laughing. These guys aren't gonna. We honestly, it'd be park the bus and game over. But
exactly.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people are reading into like what the move Spalletti did. Maybe taking off Insigne was a little bit premature.
Mhm.
Personally, I think you should have kept Insigne on, especially the way they were trying to play. Maybe a
And
Politano maybe might have been someone you could have pulled off and put Lozano on if you're trying to play them on the counter, right? Lozano,
yeah,
Ozyman just to play on the counter.
yeah.
But what can you
I
do,
think
man?
I
You live and
think
you learn.
exactly, you live and you learn. And honestly, I'd rather get this out of our system now, like you said, in Europa League, I'd rather drop those points now than on Sunday against Fiorentina because I'd personally, this is a personal statement now, I'd much rather win the Scudetto. To be honest,
Yeah,
I'd
I,
much
I,
rather.
I, I'd take either of those two trophies, but if I
Me
have to
too.
prioritize one or the other, I would
I
probably
want
take
Scudetto.
Scudetto.
I want
But
Scudetto.
honestly, like I never understood why Napoli doesn't ever prioritize the Europa League, especially considering that they've for a while they've consistently had probably like the strongest team sometimes when they were in that competition. So if they actually did try to win it, and I get that it's kind of bush like the way that the refs are
Yeah.
sometimes, and we haven't been lucky in that sense, but I feel like if they really prioritized it, we could win the Europa League, and that's not a small trophy. That's a pretty
We
decent
could.
trophy. That's a
Listen,
European trophy.
a European trophy is a European
Um
trophy. And
but
listen, Inter couldn't secure it last year. How big would it be if we were to secure it this year? Like, per se.
absolutely, but at the end of the day, if it comes to say if Napoli's in the Scudetto race and then you have Europa League semifinals, final, yeah, you try to win, but you
Mhm.
really, I feel like you start your first team in the Serie A and then you start maybe your hybrid of the two teams
Yeah,
in Europa League if it comes to that situation. But
I gotta agree with
um,
that. Yeah,
you gotta
because
like you gotta see cross that bridge when you get there. But I feel like early in the season you should be trying to be
yeah,
competitive in both of those competitions, and then later in the season you can make that choice, or the coaching staff or the team
yeah,
will make that choice, right?
I agree. And honestly, like, ooh, I don't know why I took that down there. What was I gonna say? Oh, yesterday, going back to yesterday's match, I think that was the first time where we faced adversity but we couldn't see it through due to a multitude of factors. First of all, I agree. The ref was just absolutely god awful. Like it was quite honestly that I think that has to be reviewed. That has to be reviewed by UEFA for that because there was so many that ginger defender. What's his name? I don't even know his name. That guy was going into rugby tackles, and only in the 80th minute when it was too late, they had already scored. I think it was. Oh no, I
Honestly,
think
that tackle on Ozyman there could have easily been a
that
red card.
he
That's
scissored he
intent.
scissored him in half.
That's
He
a more
scissored him
dangerous
in half.
tackle in my opinion than Mario Ruiz tackle.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
scissored him.
Annie.
Annie is his name. Yeah. Oh my
Little,
god.
we got screwed over by Little Debbie playing right
Oh.
back.
But like, yeah, okay, I agree. Mario Ruiz tackle is a red card 100% of the time. I'm not arguing that. I'm
If they
arguing
look
the
back
fact
at
that
it, yeah.
there was no consistency in those calls. Going back to Mario Rui
No,
for a
just
second,
yellows.
Mario Rui, I don't know what the hell he's thinking going into that tackle. Like, this is, you and I talked about this ad nauseum, and I think people who know us know what we feel about Mario Rui. But remember, I can't remember if I said it or Vince Bertillo said it, but we said Mario. We agreed upon Mario Rui either has a 3 of a game or he has a 9 of a game, and there is no in between. There is no consistency in between. He has a 3 or a
He
9. That's
he's
it.
and it's it. I
And
mean,
recently he's been
one
having.
it's
Recently
one
he's been having
moment
good games.
but exactly, and it's one moment like where it's he'll be playing fantastic, and then
Yeah,
out of nowhere he just
and then
does
like
like the
that, he does stuff
dumbest
like
thing you
that.
could have ever think like. And I get he was trying to probably make like a play there and like do like a fantastic start a counter maybe off that slide and hit the ball up off surprise, but
But
you
Sere,
know
you're coming in
it's
with
those
your studs.
little flashes of like wow, like your brain is gone, right? Like
Yeah,
what were you thinking? You
and
did
and
not
it
have to
wasn't a
make that challenge there.
and it wasn't a good team to do it against because Spartak, we know now, is a very physical team. And when Mario Rui gets a little bit annoyed, he loses his cool, and then he goes out and does something like that. And I fear for the same for Ozyman. Koulibaly would. Well, I've never seen him lose his cool like that ever in my life.
Yeah, no,
He
they were
swore
playing really
he,
bush, man, and that's all the ref's fault.
yeah,
The ref did not keep
exactly.
that in check,
No,
and that
no
screwed us big
precedent.
time.
No precedent was set. There was no standard set. There was nothing. He just let them do whatever they pleased, and he just dealt with the consequences later. Like, that was idiotic from that ref to do that.
No,
On
he
top of
screwed
the
us.
fact that I think Spalletti messed up yesterday too.
Yeah,
I think he messed up.
I think so. I think he made a
He messed
mistake.
up.
I think he'll learn from it. I think we'll be
Yeah,
better from it for sure. But you know, um, I also think that Mario Rui needs
that's
to
a good bet.
understand the situation that we're in, and there's not really other than him. There's not really much. We don't really have many options on his side, so
Yeah,
he's got to be a little bit more responsible on, you know, making sure that he's not getting booked for
I agree.
stupid tackles, especially where he made that tackle. You did not have to make that
No,
tackle.
you can't do
That
that. It
guy's
was a
going.
dangerous area.
That guy's going nowhere, man. Where's he
Yeah,
gonna go? Come on. And
no,
and honestly, I hate when they put Di Lorenzo on the left side, and I don't like that. Like I think if Mario Rui is not the option, you have to put either I don't know a center back. You put Juan Jesus there and keep Di
yeah,
Lorenzo on the right side
yeah.
because before Di Lorenzo switched to the left, when he was
He
on
was
the
having a
right
good
that
game.
game, he was running amok, man.
Yeah,
They couldn't do nothing about him.
yeah.
And if they would have kept him on the right side and had
With
an
Lozano.
alternative on the left, he probably would have scored or set
Yeah,
something up or did something. He's so
100%.
like neutralized on that left wing, like on
Yeah.
the left side, like he can't play the left side.
He has a good connection already with Politano, who I think in the Sparta game should have been taken off earlier.
Oh yeah,
Politano should have, honestly, my
he
chances at
was
halftime,
burnt, man. He
he was
was
burnt out.
burnt.
He was burnt out. He couldn't run in the second half. The
No,
first half he was good. Second half he looked dead on the field. And if you're playing on the counter and that is your goal, well, first of all, at halftime you put on Ozyman. You already know you want to play on the counter. You put on
put
Anguissa.
on yeah, you put
I would have thrown on Lozano too, because not only can
yeah. I
Lozano
would have went. I would have played with the two up front. I
yeah,
wouldn't even have put Lozano on the wing. I would have put Lozano
on
next to
top.
Osimhen.
No, but then you lose.
Or you play 4-4-1 basically.
They did play 4-4-1, and I don't think I like that. I maybe yeah, I guess that's the only way because you can go three in the back, but three in the back wouldn't work either.
But
So
Lozano with that pace, man, and him the way he linked
exactly,
up with Osimhen would have caused a lot of problems. And even you saw when he
exactly.
came on the first 20 minutes,
Yeah,
he got a few guys booked too. Like he probably would have even drawn a maybe a red earlier. Um,
that's another good point. And I was going to bring that up right
yeah,
now, Danny. Is that when Insigne's on the field, the team has a different type of mentality when they play.
oh,
As much
absolutely,
as people like to bash on Insigne for not being a good captain,
no,
Insigne
absolutely.
drives that team. Insigne drives that team. He is the
He
engine,
was playing great too.
and he
He
was
was
playing
playing great.
amazing.
Even on in 10 men, he was playing great. I don't think they should have.
Exactly,
I
exactly.
honestly feel like they should have took off maybe you had to take off a winger. I would have took Politano off.
Me too.
Or maybe you take off Elmas and you switch it up like that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You play with Zelinski and or you take or you take off, you know what would have been smart? It would have been smart if they took off Elmas and Zelinski
Yeah.
and they would have put in
Anguissa Lozano.
Anguissa and Lozano, and you
Yeah.
could have played that 4-4-1 like that. They would
Yeah.
have we wouldn't have lost, I don't think.
I don't think
But
so either. But there was a bunch of different factors too. Meta didn't have a good game. But anyways, off that Spartak game, Samp and Cagliari games, I really don't have much to say about them. Like just dominant performances. Just all
yeah,
around.
dude,
They were just dominant. Master
masterclass.
classes, honestly. Like the
Coach of the month
coach of the
performances. Yeah,
month, Mr. Spalletti, with coach of the month winning those two games very comfortably, very very comfortably. Actually, he September was also who played in September, Udinese and Juve, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so perfect month for him. He went 6 for 6, scored I don't know how many goals. I probably should have checked that out. A lot of goals. Long
I
story
think we
short,
have a 14 goal differential.
yeah.
14.
So
So we
very
scored, I think,
good.
16 or 17, and I think we've only conceded
Yeah,
two.
very good attacking football. Very good mindset from this team. You have to remember, even though we lose against Spartak, we put up a fight first of all. But Spalletti, he has a PhD in sports psychology. Like this isn't he knows how to twist certain results to get the best out of his team. And I can guarantee I've seen people yesterday saying, "Oh, this is going to dictate Napoli's this is going to dictate the rest of their season.
Yeah,
This is
sure.
this is where they fall off."
That's what
Mage,
people. That's what
Mage,
people
where are
want.
you going?
That
That's what
that,
they
that might
want.
that might be what they want. Doesn't mean that's
It's
what's
not
gonna
happening.
happen.
It's not happening. Not even in the slightest. These guys, they know how to take a hit and move forward. What do you think, Juve? Like this was on the. I heard this on the rant. Juve, the first 3-4 games of Juve season, that was going to dictate the rest of them. They're
No.
winning. They're winning at
Listen,
ease now.
anybody that tells you that Juve is not going to finish top four is lying to themselves. They will definitely finish top four.
I said they wouldn't.
Um, no, they're going to finish top four.
The fifth.
No, they're
Fifth.
finishing top four.
Okay.
There's no way
Well,
that they don't. Well, we'll see. But
we'll see.
honestly, like even with the start they had, like you can't count out Allegri and what
No,
he can do with that
but,
team. So I still
but
think they finished top four. But
that's
you know what?
because Allegri, like Spalletti, has the experience. They know how to win when they want to win. They know
Yeah,
how to do it. So you can never
you know,
count these guys.
uomini forti,
Uomini forti, destini
destini
forti.
forti.
Uomini deboli,
Deboli,
destini
destini
deboli.
deboli.
Exactly. It's the best way
It's
to
true.
the best way to say it. But yeah, coming from those last games, I think we're gonna go with a little new segment here, the weekly report card.
Hmm.
Said it. I have my weekly report card.
Oh,
I
we're
give
talking for the week.
I get for the week, like from the last time we
Okay.
came, from the last time from right now. I'm giving them an A. I give them an A.
Okay.
Despite the fact that they lost, despite the fact that they lost, I still give them an A for their performances, for their mentality, for the fact that even with adversity, they're still able to pull out some results.
Would have been an A plus if they won yesterday.
If they won yesterday, it would have been an A plus. I give them an A for the week. I think they did very well given the circumstances that they had specifically yesterday, and plus the dominating performances from the Sampdoria and the Cagliari games. What do you give them?
I'd give them an A too. I think that's fair. You know, it would definitely be A plus if they won last game. But you know what? Like I said, I don't put too much stock in those in games that are basically a circus. I wouldn't put too much stock in that. I feel like the more accurate performances that we can say that Napoli's represents them better is the 4-0 performances in those games that are structured properly and not overran by a stupid referee. So
Yeah.
and that's me being very very nice because I can't really say what I feel about that ref, but
Mhm.
yeah, I would not put too much stock in that Europa League game. And if we're
Yeah.
looking just at the Serie A results and even the Leicester result,
Mhm.
yeah, like we've
Honestly,
Spalletti's
like,
passed with flying colors the first couple months of the
yeah,
season. So yeah,
I
A.
agree. And like, listen, the episode right now, I we both agree. I put the A for the report card. You put the A for the report card. The episode is called, not was. It's still called Purely Perfect because in my eyes, they're still a perfect team. Even regardless,
No,
they have
they
one
play well,
they have one
except for
blemish.
Murray.
That's it. They have one blemish, but regardless of the fact, they're still playing well enough that in our eyes they deserve an A. And now here's a question to whoever's watching right now. What do you give them? What's your weekly report card? What do you think they deserve as a grade? Tell us, let us know, because I think we both said our piece here. We both think that an A is a fair score. They've been perfect so far throughout the season, minus the result yesterday. But even given those circumstances, they still put on a good performance. I think A is a good. I think A is a good score. But please, if you have differently, please let us know.
It's
Hit
A
us in
for
the comments.
Napoli, and it's A plus plus for Osimhen.
Oh, A plus plus. There's
A
not even.
plus plus.
I couldn't even give him a score at this point. It's too good. It's too. By the way, look at our boy
He's an
Vincenzo
animal.
coming through.
Hey, Vince.
What's up, Vince? How are you? Danny says A. A is reasonable. A is reasonable. Grade
Absolutely.
for the whole season. No, we're going only on a week by week basis. So this is going to be for the Cagliari, Sampdoria, and the Spartak games. Sereno and I gave our piece. We said A, but let us know your score. Let us know your score. We're
The whole
dying to hear.
season is a pass. Like I said, I think he passed with flying colors.
Pass. Oof,
Well,
he passed.
so
He's top of the class right now.
so far, anyways.
He's top of the class in my opinion, and I think he's going to remain top of the class for a while. What do you think for the Fiorentina game, which is actually what we're going to get
Ooh,
into next?
Osimhen, yeah, absolutely. He's
What's that?
no, for
Comment here.
sure.
Let me pull it up here. Ozyman went from teacher to student after his recent performances. Listen, Ozyman would have got that title last season if he didn't get COVID and he got his injuries.
Okay,
Ozyman is
so
what's that?
absolutely.
What's that? What's that? You're about to say something. Oh, we got another one.
I
Another
know
score here. B plus for me. It would be if we
he's an
won
animal.
against Sparta.
He's an
Fair
animal.
enough. Fair
I don't know what to
enough.
say. He's
B plus. B plus. That's a good score. B plus for me too. Thursday night, not good all around. Uh I don't know. I felt like they still did. I felt like they still did enough on Thursday to be to still warrant an A. To be honest with you, I think given the circumstances that they played under, that ref was horrible. That definitely didn't help out. The the red card doesn't help out. Even though they were down a man, they still put on a decent sort of. Oh, looks like Serrano's gone there. They still put on a decent sort of performance, enough for me to say that A is reasonable, but I do understand B plus. B plus because of the fact that they lost, and I can get some of the things that didn't go right yesterday. We Serrano and I talked about it. Mario Rui wasn't Mario Rui did Mario Rui things basically. They looked tired. Honestly, they are coming off two pretty decent performances. 4-0, 2-0. Like those are really good performances. I don't know. They seem like it could have been a better game for sure. But with the bumps on the road, I think they still did pretty decent. Vince says our heads weren't in it. I think we were worried about the short gap and bug game Sunday. Either way, we win without the red. Excuse me, can't speak there. Yeah, I can see that for sure because playing a game on Thursday and then going out to play a game on Sunday, like there's not enough rest time in between, and there's kind of like there's players get tired. Like this isn't FIFA. We understand that the physiology of a human can only take so much throughout the week. Specifically, if you're an athlete, like they go through a lot of damage when playing these games. And yeah, I guess coming off those results and then getting into this game and then getting into a short turnaround, and Sereno is back.
sorry.
um, but yeah, I can
Not
see
not a
that.
good day for technical
Don't worry about
issues.
it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, Vince, I was just talking about this right now. Vince said our heads weren't in it. Either way, they win without either way they win without the red. We agree on that. If they didn't have a red card, Serrano said 5-0. I said 3-0 win. I think that red card changes the complexion of the game. But I do agree with the fact that they were worried about the short gap because Fiorentina is always a tough game. It's always a tough game.
Fiorentina at the Franchi away is a tough game
Yes,
for
it's
sure.
always a tough game, and they will. they will definitely have a tough time, and this turnaround time is going to be a little bit difficult for them. But Daniel, I agree with that. They will recover. They're going to recover.
They will for sure. But you
They
think in the back of their head they ever that that trip brings back like bad memories?
exactly. 5 games, high intensity, short rest in between. I agree. Sometimes, yeah, you get tired. I don't know. What was this? I'm looking through the comments here. Sorry, one sec.
It's all good. Honestly, I think fatigue could have been maybe a factor to a degree, but honestly, I don't think that stops us from winning. I think the not even the red. Honestly, I feel like if the ref was more consistent in his calls and didn't lose the game and let all of this Bush stuff happen, I feel like we're still cruising. Even at 1-0, 10 men down a man, like in 10 men. Um,
It will.
Oh, I hope so.
It will.
I hope so, and I feel like they will. I honestly don't think this is the same Napoli as Napoli's past. So
Yeah.
I feel
And
like I don't think this is gonna bother them too much. I think
no.
they're pretty resilient. So
And that brings us, that's a perfect segue. Thank you, Daniel, because we were just about to get into the Fiorentina preview, what we expect to happen. Sede, do you want to give it away? Give some of your thoughts on what you think might happen on Sunday? Okay.
I hope that we get a goal quick. Um, because I hope we start on time because I, I know I said that I don't think this is gonna affect them, but if they go down early or if something happens early, they might be maybe shooken a bit and might make things a little bit difficult. So I just hope that we start well, and if we start well, I think we're gonna end. And if I have to put a score on it, I think we're gonna see maybe 3-0 or 3-1.
Yeah.
Fiorentina is not like they were last year. They're playing pretty well, so I'd give them a goal. Like, I think they'll score. So I'm gonna say 3-1. If Lozano starts, Lozano scores a goal, Osimhen scores a goal, and Insigne scores a goal. So I say Lozano, Osimhen, Insigne.
Yeah. I think
And
that's
then
good.
And then Callejon scores his first goal for Fiorentina.
Knowing our luck, that probably would happen.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
Vince, I brought this up because I agree with this. Fabian has been playing amazing. He has
Yeah.
been playing very, very good. And having Anguissa by his side gives him a lot more freedom and less defensive responsibility, which, Daniel, I agree with this statement too. He is lazy on defense sometimes, but he doesn't have to work.
That's why it's good to have Anguissa because it takes that defensive
Exactly.
burden off of him, and he's allowed to
Exactly.
be the player that we signed pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. And like
The UEFA under 21 player of the tournament. So
exactly. And you
yeah.
give him that freedom with Anguissa, who's a very strong ball winning midfielder. I like that pairing. Now, the only downside I see with Demme and Anguissa both playing at the same time is the fact that they're kind of similar. They're both ball winning midfield. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. You know what? I see it.
They're both high intensity ball winning midfielders, and you don't really expect that out of Demme. But when Demme steps on the field, he's all over that midfield. He is everywhere.
Well, he's a great listen. Demme is very underrated. I think he's a fantastic player. I think that
Agreed.
was a fantastic signing that Napoli made, and he, along with when we got Gattuso, saved that season. He helped save that season for us.
Yeah.
You got to remember he was the captain of Red Bull. Like he was their captain.
Yes.
This is not like just a bench player. Like he could start in a lot of teams in
Yeah.
Europe. So, um, yeah, I don't think Demme is like the some just rotational player. Like he could easily start for this team
Hmm.
at points of the season.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's important if to get him going. If they might throw him the start on Sunday. I don't know with who. I feel like he could run with Anguissa, but you might lack a little bit in the offensive phase for the midfielders. But
You know what?
we'll
Like
see what Spalletti's
you
he
you
decides.
you could in a sense run with Demme and Anguissa in the midfield, but if you are going to do that, I suggest you have highly creative players in the attacking zone. Meaning that if I had to put out a team for Sunday, I'd honestly start Unas as a number 10.
I was thinking that, yeah,
I'd start
maybe you
Unas as
pulled Zelensky from the 10 and you put an Unas or you put a Mertens there. That's when you would go with the more defensive
exactly,
two. Yeah, you're right.
exactly. You put Unas there. You put Insigne on the left. You put I'm not starting Politano for this game, to be honest with you.
No,
I'm starting
Politano,
Lozano.
shouldn't have started against Spartak. He had no
I don't
legs.
I don't
You could
think so
even
either.
started Unas on
Yeah.
that side, to be honest.
I think you put Lozano on for that game. I really like Unas as a number 10 because he is so good at reading the attacking play. He puts
No,
himself in the
absolutely.
perfect position to receive and give the ball. And I think that it's perfect against a team like Fiorentina, who does have that high intensity sort of defensive style, that you put on someone like that to calm him down a bit, to break him down little by little throughout the game, because he's going to cause problems. You put Lozano on the side there, Lozano is gonna cause problems. Obviously, Ozyman is a problem already. Like
He's a big problem.
he's a big problem already. And lastly, which I agree with Daniel here, he says they need to put on a dominant defensive performance. I'm not worried about it. They've put on dominant defensive
No, they have. They
performances.
have.
Thursday was a little bit of a blip in the
I'll
system.
be honest, man. Like, yeah, a big part of it is Ospina too. Like, not having Ospina. Ospina
Yes.
literally uh, runs that back line. Like, he's a big voice and he organizes them and he does a lot of things.
Okay.
And I forget who said it. Someone in one of the group chats. I think one of those 3 goals, Ospina probably stops one of those shots. I think
That was Vincenzo who said
that was
that.
Vincenzo. That was a good
He-
take because I
And
agree.
it was
Honestly,
it was yeah, I thought it was kind of difficult to save regardless because it passes underneath Koulibaly's legs.
I get that,
But
but
I get I get
I
it.
feel like he pulls off one of those miracles because he usually does, and then he gets hurt after. But
Listen, I love Merit. I
I love
really
Meta
do.
too. I
I
think
really
Meta's
do.
gonna be great, but
He's
he's
not
got
there
to
right now.
develop, man. He's got to learn how to command that 18-yard box because he hasn't.
Yeah.
And he's a great shot stopper, but it's not necessarily how he goaltends when he's in the net. It's how the defense in front of him performs, and it's like he's not heard by his defense, and he's not good at policing that line. So
Yeah.
that's definitely where he needs to grow moving forward.
Yeah.
But
And you think he should be taking some things from
from Ospina, you
from
would think,
Ospina,
yeah.
right? Like he's taking notes, you'd imagine. But he still lacks communication. Like he still doesn't know how to command his back line. He's still scared. Like that. The reason why he got injured is because he's scared. He was scared to go up for that ball. He's scared to play through the player and get to the ball. And that's how he gets injured. And that's how he scores goals. Listen, Spartak
Dude,
had three goals on 3 shots. They had 3 shots and they scored 3 goals. That to me is unacceptable.
I know.
You have to let Ospina
Well,
score.
3 well, one was a tap in, one was really hard. I mean, there were 3 good shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, the merit that we got under Ancelotti was, dude,
Oh,
he bailed us out so many times. Like, and
unstoppable. But then I don't know what
I
happened.
wish he could find that form again.
I think as much as I love Gattuso happened and that kind of messed with Meret for a little bit.
It messed with his confidence a lot.
Yeah, I
Sitting
think
like
so.
that.
Yeah, I agree, Vince. We just said it. Ospina, he has that leadership. He really right now, really.
Gattuso's
Ospina
calling. He's upset.
he has that
He heard
leadership.
what you said.
He has that sort of command, that voice in the box, but Meret still lacks it, and I think it's just a matter of time that he does get it. But yeah, I think for Fiorentina, we're gonna have I think we're gonna be fine. We're gonna have
No, I'm not worried.
a defensive structure. Listen, the Spartak game. Spartak's a team that it's kind of weird the way they played because they just threw numbers at you and they hoped something worked, and that's kind of
They,
confusing as a
they
defender.
were also burning us on that flank, eh?
Exactly,
On that
yeah.
left side, they burnt us.
And
Moses and that
not to mention, look, they have good players.
yeah,
Quincy,
they have quality. They
Quincy,
do have
Quincy Promise, Victor Moses, like
yeah,
these are
they have
decent
quality.
players.
It's not
They have quality.
they're not like, they got players like, but honestly, I think we easily win if we don't get
Yeah,
that card and if the ref polices the game all, the way he's supposed to.
exactly.
I think we still pull off a result there. And we almost did get a result. Honestly, that last oh,
I
I
saw
didn't
both.
freak out the whole game. I don't know if anybody else relates. The only point where I got like heated and I actually freaked out was when we were going to go try to tie the game. Did you notice Malquit took like 17 years to throw that ball in? At
Oh
the
my
you didn't
god,
watch, but
yes.
I was hollering. I'm like, hurry up, bro! Like,
Yeah.
what are you waiting for, man?
That's another
Like,
thing that they do a lot of the times is
he
that when you
takes
have a
so
chance,
much time, and then at the end of look,
years.
we almost had it. If Fabian connects, if that ball's a little bit closer, if Fabian connects, there
Yeah,
was there was three people in the box ready to eat that up, and it would have been a tap in.
exactly.
So even though we had that kind of game and it looked like we were out of it or we had the odds stacked against us, we were a half an inch away from getting a result
Yeah,
from a game like that. So
yeah.
yeah,
Listen,
guys, don't worry. We're
if
good. We'll be fine.
I don't know, man. It's just I thought it was just a blip. It was just a little thing. But
It's definitely a blip. It's
Coming
definitely a
for
blip.
Sunday, said it. What's your score prediction?
I
You
said
said
3-1.
3-1. I agree
Yeah.
with that. 3-1. I don't think we get a clean sheet. I
No.
think Fiorentina, Vlahovic. Come on, he's gonna
They'll score a goal.
he'll score a goal.
I'm going to say it's going to be Callejon if Callejon comes on at some point. I
Yeah,
think Callejon's going to score against them.
knowing our luck, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3-1, 3-1 score prediction from us. Give us your score prediction down in the comments below. And while you guys do that, Sede, I know there's something you want to talk about. And it's kind of like a new thing. We were talking about it today in the chat. It's about the ultras.
Oh,
It's about the ultras.
I
You
don't
want to
know
get
much
into that?
about this, but I would like to know more. From what I know, obviously the Ultras, you know,
Doing okay.
they've had a shaky relationship with De Laurentiis for a while, and
Yeah,
obviously, like it's I don't think it's unwarranted. I think De Laurentiis has said things in the past and kind of like come for them, like for lack of a better term. Um, so they're kind of boycotting the home games. They don't want to go,
yeah,
or they're kind of doing a protest, which sucks because honestly, having them in the stadium, even for away games, because they show up to the away games, that gives the team a big boost. And our fans, you know how they are; they're so passionate, and the chants, and it's beautiful. And in the stadium, we have in both curvas we have Utras, and it provides a great atmosphere and a very hostile atmosphere for teams coming into Napoli. So um, I feel like the main thing that set off this protest was, um, I think against Juve, the tickets were like 55 euros or 50 euros for the curvas, which, considering it's a big game, I guess you could charge that much. But also, you got to take into account that, in football, you have those popular sections, you have those supporter sections, and those sections are meant to be more economical because those are fans that are they're going to basically chant and sing the whole game, and they're going to probably be there every week. So you price, usually you price those a little bit more economical. So
hmm
it was kind of like a slight on them. And then De Laurentiis always talks about building like a soccer stadium, like a movie theater, and the the Ultras culture is always against modern football in that sense, where they don't want the stadiums to be like a theater. And I agree. I think it's yeah, I know it's true, but you got to keep in mind it's
cost of
we
living.
pay that's our no, that's our fault as
Yeah,
fans. If we would do the same thing that the Ultras are doing, like the Leafs tickets,
MLSC gets away with robbery.
MLSC, they would bring the tickets down. We pay way
Yeah,
too much here.
I agree, man.
Um,
But yeah, like you said, I understand the situation. Like, they're mad about a few things. They're mad about the stadium capacity restrictions, which
yeah, that too.
to be honest with
And
you,
the
listen,
COVID restrictions
do
too.
you think ADL really wants that? Do you
No,
think he really
no,
wants to
obviously not.
limit the amount of tickets he can sell? He wants that stadium packed every single game, every week.
And it's
More
going to
you
75. It's going to 75% in
exactly,
October.
exactly. So
Uh, that's what they tweeted out,
there's
rumored.
things that they're getting mad of that he really has no control over, which I don't agree with in the slightest. Now I can kind of sense the ticket prices things because listen, if you have been to Naples or if you've lived in Naples, visited whatever, or you may not know that the cost of living there isn't the same as what we would compare it to here. Now, I understand our beer here is like $60, whatever it is, to go to a TFC game. Some of the people that go to the Napoli games cannot afford those prices, and sometimes they cannot afford to go at all because of the ticket prices.
No, for
I
sure.
get that. I
And
get
that's why you
that. It's
have those
definitely a
popular
thing.
sections, and that's why they're upset because
Exactly.
it's different. If you want to go watch a game in the Distinti, like you're sitting in like a prime spot,
It's like
sure,
30,
you can
30
charge
euros. It's
30
30
euros,
euros.
40 euros,
40
sure.
euros.
But you're sitting in the curva, and it's not like if anybody's been to the San Paulo or the Maradona now,
Yeah.
there's a massive track. You're 1,000 kilometers away from the field when you're in the
Yeah.
curvas, which it's a beautiful environment. You can still see the field, but come on, you're gonna pay 55 euros
No.
just to be all the way down there, no matter who they're playing.
I agree. I agree.
Ridiculous.
And it makes sense that listen, it's a double-edged sword now because on one end you have a group of people who can't really afford to go to those games and spend that money. On the other hand, we're looking at yeah, that will cost of living does entail the salary
That's it.
that
Like
you can.
it's not like
It does. That's
people
what
are
I mean
people
by
are
it.
struggling, man.
It's a struggle. Cost of living does also inherently entail the salaries that they make, which is obviously less than northern Italy itself and then the rest of Europe. But as I was saying, there's one side that I agree with. Yes, these guys are struggling and they cannot afford to go to those games, and I agree with that. On the other hand, they are supporting other clubs by paying their ticket prices, going to the away games, and then just giving them the money instead
I
of
know.
giving their own club.
They really
Which is
like I said,
it's
some
like
of it is warranted. They're
listen,
really against De Laurentiis, everything De Laurentiis, a lot of
listen,
them.
listen. I get you want to make a point, but that's the most ass backwards way I think you could make a point.
You gotta be for the team first.
Exactly, you have to
Like
be for the
and
team.
we don't have a shit team. Like, but
No,
also I
no,
think De Laurentiis has to meet them halfway.
he
You
does.
want
He's
listen,
stubborn. He's very stubborn, and I don't
you
like that.
but that's stupid. You want these guys at the game. You want that atmosphere. That's what you're known for. You have a team that's competitive and having that extra advantage of having that fan base and that environment, which is second to none in my opinion of anything that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
You want those guys at the stadium.
listen,
So
listen.
honestly, like you might maybe make a little bit less money if you bring those tickets down for some games, but
It's also ticket
wouldn't you
dependent.
rather win? Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like
It's also game dependent in the fact that like if you're going to play if it's Napoli versus Juve, ticket prices are jacked up
yeah,
a
dude.
bit.
But even Napoli
Exact
versus Juve, maybe 40 euros, maybe 35 euros, 50 euros, dude.
they're 50 euros for I think 50 euros for the Distinti if you want to go watch Napoli versus Juve if I
No,
remember
it was
correctly.
50 for the curvas. It was like 80 for the Distinti.
Oh, okay, so I was wrong then.
It was
But like
crazy. Those
it's
were
like
crazy prices.
exactly. And it's and Daniel, yeah, you're right. I think if I could be wrong here, but you do live in Italy and you know what the true situation is here. I am lucky enough to have been there quite often to understand the situation as well. And there is a bit of a discrepancy. But besides the fact, I get that, and I get what ADL is trying to get at. He's trying to compete financially with other top clubs. He's trying to compete on the same basis as Juve, Inter, Milan, etc., etc., etc. Because
Yeah, but
they
dude,
can afford those tickets. That's the only problem. They can afford those tickets. These
absolutely
guys
they
can't.
can,
So
but
you
not
have to
for
figure out.
anything.
We have to
Not for
figure out
anything.
another way to.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Not for anything. Look at the Juventus stadium and then look at the San Paulo. I mean, they improved it. But
Yeah.
you're telling me you want to compare sitting in the Juventus stadium to sitting at the San Paulo, even though San Paulo, I love the San Paulo. It's beautiful. They renovated it. It's night and day. And if really and
Yeah.
truly, if De Laurentiis wanted to cash in on game day revenue, ticket prices is just the bare minimum. Like they
Yeah.
could do so much more. They can open up a store in the thing, stores,
Oh my
concessions.
god! Don't even get me started with
Like
that. Or a museum, a store, something,
not
something. They have
like
no.
Napoli doesn't capitalize on that stuff,
No.
and it's the stadium too. How can you charge that much for a seat in the curva in that curva? Like, sorry, when you're 10, like
No.
I said, you're 15 kilometers away from the field.
Exactly, exactly. I agree.
Ridiculous.
It's a very I understand their grievances. I understand fully, and it makes sense that these guys are protesting. They're doing something that honestly, you're a Leaf fan. You should know this. Something Leaf fans should have done years ago, because now MLSE gets away with
Now it's
daylight robbery.
yeah, because it's a corporate. They corporate. Like it's all those seats are corporate. There's no real fans. Then you go. Then the Leafs go to Boston, and TD Gardens is like
Dirt cheap.
nuts.
Yeah,
Like and that
exactly.
and it's a hostile environment for them to play in, and they struggle. Or even
That's
the Bell
a good
Center,
point.
the same thing.
Yeah,
We struggle there, or teams that
exactly.
go to struggle because it's hostile. And
Yeah,
Napoli is the most hostile stadium when it's packed and when the Ultras are in there, and we need it to be hostile. We
yeah.
we need that.
We need to be hostile, but I get these points too, right? This is not our house; we just rent it, and
I know.
the commune is making like it's always been like
But
this,
but
right?
but they don't.
It's
But the
always
Comune
been.
doesn't make the prices for the
They don't
Napoli
make
game.
the
That's
prices
the
for the
rent.
tickets, right? But I get what they mean. Like ADL doesn't want to, can't do what he wants because the comune does. Listen, there's so many factors that play into why things are the way they are.
It's
But the
Italy,
most
man.
important thing that we should realize is that it's important to fill up these curvas. Listen, I have a quote right here. Yaya Toure going to the San Paulo. The San Paulo is a stadium which doesn't leave you indifferent, even as an opponent. Supporters like Napoli strengthens the team. That's a quote
Absolutely.
from him
Dude,
directly.
Napoli in
You
that
need those
group in
guys.
that year in Champions League, dude. We made it out of that group. What do you
Yeah,
think helped us make it out of
Agnico
that group?
Loss.
Those teams having to make a trip to the São Paulo, which was like
Yes,
walking into an
yes,
inferno of hell.
exactly.
Like it makes a big difference, man.
When someone steps into that stadium and they hear the champions roar coming out of 60,000 fans, not even just Curvas, just everyone in general, that that that
It's an earthquake. Registers on the
mentally,
seismographic.
it
Yeah,
does register sometimes. That makes you double think about what's going to happen in this game. And it is super important to get these guys in the seats because listen, as good as we are now, just imagine if we have that support behind them
oh,
at home.
absolutely. And
At
this is
home.
where I wish that they would put their pride aside, because this team is good. This team is fantastic,
Yes.
and you know what? This is probably the most talented Napoli team that we've ever had
Yes.
in overall, and deepest team we've had. So as much as you have your grievances with Aurelio De Laurentiis, which I also have those grievances as well
Me too. Me too.
for a few for a few reasons.
Yeah.
He has his pros. Don't get me wrong, but he also does have his comes with his cons. But he's built a good team. We have a
Yeah.
great team, and
I agree.
we're competitive. So if
Yes.
we're competitive, if you're a fan of the team, and which it's you know prima la maglia, or
Hmm.
first the shirt, then you should prima la maglia be at the stadium, yeah,
I agree. I
and
agree.
help them win. That's the most important thing.
I agree. And with that being said, that concludes everything we have to talk about this week. As I said, any last words for anyone in the chat watching right now?
Be a goldfish if you watch Ted Lasso.
Be a
10-second
goldfish.
memory. When we have those crappy games, be a goldfish.
I agree with that. Be a
Enjoy
goldfish.
your weekend.
Exactly. Listen,
Yeah,
Spartak was just one little blip in the system. Sunday's a whole new day. It's a whole new
it's all
environment.
good.
I think we have good things to look forward to in the future. But with
No,
that being
absolutely.
said, I think that's all we have for everyone today. Thank you again for tuning in to episode 3 of the Feed the Vesuvio podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Uh, Also follow us on our social media. We just have an Instagram. We just made it a few days ago. FDV podcast. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. We appreciate everyone coming in, showing support, talking in the chat. I couldn't agree more. Forza Napoli sempre and
Absolutely.
forever. Solo la maglia. That is
Oh,
our
yeah.
opinion.
Listen, if anybody is in the GTA and is part of the Napoli Club Toronto, I hope I see you on Sunday. You guys
I
better
hope
be
to see
there.
you on Sunday. Vince, that includes you, buddy. I want you there. I want you there in person. All right, guys. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Take
Forza
care.
Napoli sempre. Ciao.
Ciao.